Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Mariancho. Today is Friday, February 13th. Friday the 13th. Hopefully, bad luck is not on our side. Hopefully, we can turn the tables. Oh shit, I didn't realize this. Let's hope for the best. Let's go. Let's get it going. Let's draft some underdog teams. Holy shit, bad luck already starting with that little verbal stumble there, but I think we're going to be okay. I think we can figure it out, but maybe just to be safe, let's start a little board. Let's only risk $3 in this one. And this tournament is a little bit more typical to regular underdog tournaments. You have to finish top 2 to get that money back, and then we're trying to ultimately win first prize where we can take home $100,000. But even if we finish top 100, we get 500 off $3. That's not too bad. So let's hop in. Everything else is the same. If you would like to join me, we're on a very short delay as of today, but I do not want to get botched with the location. So you know what? Let's do it on the phone. I think it's safer to just keep doing it on the phone, because there were like 2 straight days this week where we had some bad problems. So a reminder, this is the little board, the $3 entry, and I will be joining in 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let us join. 7 more to start. If you want in, come and get it. Does feel like it should be a good one. I'm in a good mood. And then we will do a big board following this. There will definitely be at least 2 drafts today. But looks like we got some viewers in here in the chat. Let me get it set up for everyone. We got Scott in here. Good afternoon, my friend. Nice to see you. Let me get you situated properly. Where do I want to put you? I think today we're going to go on this side. I think today we're going to go right here. But nice to see you, Scott, again. PPR Tyler in the house. What's up, my man? I would like to shout out PPR Tyler. If you do not know, oh, we have an ad break going. Fuck, skip the ads. In the moment, I feel like the ads need to cool it. If you do not know, check out PPR Tyler's channel. I have really enjoyed your rookie profiles. Appreciate you risking the copyright flags, man. Bummer to see the live streams get shut down a couple times. But that's the only reason I have been so averse to doing that type of content. But every single video you got recently has gotten me hyped on all the rookies. I really appreciate that info. I recommend y'all head over there, subscribe, and check it out. I love to see it, man. Keep grinding. Keep fucking grinding. But Angus in here, dope. Welcome, Angus. Nice to see ya. Maybe we'll play some golf next weekend. But Shanzo Gonzo, of course not. We're not going to rug you. The only tricky thing is, we still have 5 spots. This thing is not filling very quickly. I would have assumed the $3 actually kind of fills quickly, but the more I think about it, most people that would fill this quickly are already maxed out on this tournament. So we might get a wider variety of contestants in our lobby. It's down to 3, so we're getting a little closer. I won't wait forever. Let's give it another 2 minutes. I think it will be full in 2 minutes, but if it doesn't make any progress, then maybe we'll head over to a big board and skip this. But 100% agree, Jamie. And 24-hour stream, I'm not willing to do that. My voice is not going to be happy with that. So all the power to you, man, if you're willing to do that. But don't let people bully you into that. Do it as long as you can, but don't succumb to peer pressure. That's my only advice on that. But you do you. If you want to do it, by all means. I can't say I want to do something like that. I'm happy with a 2 to 3 hour stream. 1 hour feels a little thin, and then 2 hours is usually the right spot. But I'm fine going up to 3 on occasion. 24 sounds like a nightmare, but still 2 spots in this little board. If you want one, you can still come get it. But I guess at this point, okay, one spot remaining. I think we're just gonna wait it out. I don't think it's worth exiting at this point. But by the end of the 24 hours, there's no way you aren't absolutely feral. You're either like so ready to pass out, or you've hit this like reserve tank and you are just fucking crazy. Like you might as well be rabid um after that. So um good luck, man. But until you say you're gonna do it, I'm not gonna believe it. Until it comes out of your mouth. I wouldn't assume it happens. But we do get the 106 in this lobby here. That's not bad. Hopefully, we do not get boxed out of running back like we did yesterday. Honestly, I didn't hate that team. I didn't think it was atrocious. But we do have Dirty P in here at the 9. Shanzo Gonzo. Anyone know how long it is? Underdog. Wait, what? To toss a draft? Anyone know how long it is for Underdog to toss a draft? I believe that's what you're asking me. Usually it would happen like within a day. Like it's rare that I've done one and like get an email more than like 2 days later. That's like, oh, we had to revoke one of your drafts. It's usually pretty quickly that they would revoke one. But 2 years in a row. Cheers to you, bro. Cheers to you. Um, Angus with a question: players most likely to climb in ADP in the coming weeks? I mean, odds are like until mid-March, I don't think we're gonna get the full free agency information. So I think in the next 2 weeks, not too much is is going to change. Maybe there are some free agency signings, but I believe it all happens like the second week of March, if I'm not mistaken. So until then, it's just the combine, and that we might get a few late round rookies to climb. I could see Adam Randall climb heavily given his size and measurables, but Taylor goes at the 3. Damn, Chooch at pick 4. Must be excited, but we will take JSN here. We will take JSN at the 106. Let's see how it goes and try to ignore passing on running back for a while. But 2 years ago, I only popped in and out because he didn't have the 24 hours during the Fantasy Football Expo. Gotcha. Restating, to toss a draft, how long you think it takes? Yeah, I think within 48 hours you should be in the clear, but honestly once 24 hours is passed, I think it's very unlikely. It almost never happens in the first place, but anytime it's happened to me, I usually get an email within the next day. Sometimes it's a big bummer cuz like sometimes you have a really dope team cuz just someone fucking chucked it. And half the time I don't think it's really like someone cheating. I think maybe just someone is really that bad. But whatever is the reason why, it always sucks when it happens. It's like, yeah, you're giving me my money back, so that's fine, but like I wasted time. I feel like everyone should get an extra dollar. Everyone should get that person's buy-in. It should be more punitive for the person that causes it to be tossed. But can you enforce that? Probably not that effectively, so whatever. I agree here. This is a very interesting round 1. To see Justin Jefferson before Amon-Ra, that is a bold take. So I'm sure KW Hill with Achan and Genty, not that I've never seen that happen, but I'm sure they're a little bit happy. This team with Amon-Ra probably going to be ecstatic. And then if that team with Jefferson does something strange again, then the team with James Cook, Dirty P, might get a really good value there. But he goes Drake London, so yo, did you see that? Did you? Oh, I think it's just out of frame. My cat just jumped to the top of that window behind me. I think you missed it. Yeah, just out of frame. But wow, this lobby's really favoring wide receiver. So given my strategy, I think this is like kind of ideal. There's still Saquon and Jeremiah Love on the board. Damn, I'm not that crazy about Saquon in all honesty. This was an interesting lobby so far. Um, I think we'll go Jeremiah Love. Fuck it. I'm really starting to get a little concerned about Saquon Barkley because maybe I just missed it, but who is the new Eagles OC? Is it just not Sean Mannion? The Philadelphia Eagles hired former Green Bay Packers quarterbacks coach Sean Mannion. That doesn't sound like the best possible candidate. Am I wrong to assume that? I don't want to be mean to Sean Mannion, but that does not really inspire much confidence. The Packers quarterback coach? Say what you want about Jordan Love's development, but like I'm not sure that is the most inspiring thing to hear. Packers have a very interesting program for a while, but like I don't know about that. Um Sean Zaganza says, I've got one that certainly needs to be tossed, but it's been nearly a week ago and still showing as live. I would not expect that to change. After a week, nah, man. I think that one's just gonna stick. Have I found my way to Hugh Hames Discord yet? I want to share the board in there. I have not, my friend. I apologize. I'm a little concerned about a recent Discord policy update. I think it goes into effect in the next month, but apparently, from what I've heard, you'll have to Google this to confirm. I could be wrong. But if this is true, I'm not really hyped on Discord, to be honest with you. I don't really have an experience on Discord, so that's where I heard this a few days ago and I'm even more reluctant. But if you're not a fan of biometric data being taken from you, in the next month, my understanding is that Discord will require all users to submit, I believe, a photo ID and like picture of themselves to link to their account. It is not going to be as anonymous as it has always been. I will take Josh Jacobs. We'll just do that. For that reason, I might not be spending very much time on Discord in the future. So I will check it out, but I do want to read more into that. And that is definitely a much different topic that I probably don't have enough expertise on. But to be honest, that does not sound very good. So I don't want to condemn Discord. I just want to verify that before I really invest a lot of time on there. And if that's really what they're gonna do, I think I'm gonna pass. No offense to anyone on Discord. Like it's just not been in my daily habits. And if that's something I gotta put up with, then I'll pass. But at the moment, I don't know. I can't confirm that 100%. That's just what I heard. Anyways, Angus is not worried about Achane at all this year. I don't think so either. I think he's clearly their best player, and like he can just score from anywhere. And like that's just not something I want to pass on from like a talent perspective. I don't see there really being any scenario where Achane is like not a top 10 running back. So from a floor standpoint, absolutely worth it. Around the 1-2 turn, I think he's really, really safe. However, from an upside standpoint, I could see him fall down a little bit. But he's just been so good, that's not really going to drastically change. Even if he does look a little worse, I don't think he'll look that bad to where he's like unusable and like you can't validate drafting him. But we'll take Adams. I'm still comfortable with Adams. He still plays with Stafford, and I'm sure touchdowns are going to be his bread and butter, like always. So Adams, I think, is a perfectly fine pick. Probably misses some time. I think some of these ADPs are also still like so weighted by like week 17's performance. That's the main like explanation I can think of for someone like Luther Burden. And then like in that context, the fantasy playoffs, Adams wasn't too great. Adams did kind of fall off a cliff in terms of upside, at least after his injury. I have some time. Let's pull it up. Hopefully Pro Football Reference. Um, what's the deal with this? Why is it verifying me every single time I'm on this website? That's so strange. But yeah, when he came back from injury, he actually stopped playing in week 15. But before that, he was always killing it. There was a stretch there with fucking how many touchdowns? He had 11 touchdowns in 6 games. This is half PPR. This is a touchdown type of game. Give me a player that can lead the NFL at receiver in touchdowns in round 4. But Quinshon Judkins falling. No, that's ADP. Never mind. Interesting that Packer boys passed on him multiple times. But personally here, I prefer DeAndre Swift among these 3. I trust that Swift's job will stay intact. And Judkins plays for the Browns. So I would much rather invest in Ben Johnson's offense than Todd Monken's offense. And I personally like the talent on Judkins, but obviously he's a very questionable decision maker. That's putting it lightly. And I wouldn't be shocked if like we do see some suspension in the future for him. It's probably not this year. It's probably not related to the incident last season, but like, would you really be shocked if there was some terrible news about Judkins in the offseason that like caused his stock to plummet? I don't think he's like a safe floor type of pick. Swift every season finishes as a top 20 running back, and like it also gives me a reason to draft Caleb Williams, perhaps. Oh no, Caleb already went at pick 52. Interesting. Chooch. They got Gibbs at the 104. Took Caleb as the QB3. Wow, that is interesting. I've seen Caleb fall into the 70s before. I love Caleb, but early round 5, I've not seen that yet happen on Caleb before. This is interesting. But Angus saying just send them some DNA and you won't. Exactly. Yeah. As always, just give them full access to every single part of your life and everything will be fine. Never question the government. Be a good drone. But RM covers, he's gonna get a lot of check down. Jeremiah Love, I assume. I believe that's when this comment came in. I've been a bit behind on the chat. Damn, we almost got Brian Thomas there. That would have been dope. But this is absolutely a part of the draft where I'm trying to draft a quarterback. It starts to fly off the board very quickly, and we are getting a price discount on Jaden Daniels. So with his rushing upside, I'll take that all day right here. I think he's a perfectly fine pick, like as the QB3. I think once you hit the 5-6 turn, there should be a massive run on quarterback typically. And Jaden Daniels, I would argue, should be the first of that run. I think after Lamar, Jaden Daniels is still someone I can't really dismiss as the most likely QB3. The rushing upside is just so notable and so important. So give me Jaden Daniels there. We got a good value. So at pick 67, I'll take that for sure. Angus says, I think Love can be amazing this year. Drafters are scared of how bad Genty was for fantasy last year, even though I think it was the Raiders' fault, not his. Absolutely. Like the yards before contact was just so atrocious for Genty. And if that's the reason why people are averse to rookie running backs this season, then maybe they're all well priced. But I think in round 2, especially with the Chiefs on the board as a landing spot, they draft top 10. At the very least, if that happened, his price would really bump up. So I'll take him, especially at a discount these days, while I can get it. Interesting to go Jaylen Warren here at pick 78. That would be kind of compelling. We could really ignore running back for a while. This running back room would be pretty dope. Fuck it. Let's do it. Let's take the value. I think Warren's a fine pick in the 6th. So to get a mid-round 7 feels not bad. And then I recall the way this draft started. Yeah, the team behind me went 0 RB up to this point. So to gift them Warren would have been a little bit I would have regretted that just a little bit. I think I made the right call there. Not out of spite or anything, but like, you know, this is a little board. We can't afford to finish third. We got to finish second. So if we can bury a different team a little bit, then we'll do that. I definitely think that factored into the zero RB draft that I did yesterday. Um, but Warren, from a floor standpoint, I think is very safe. His role, I don't think, is in question for the Steelers. So Monangai, a much different fall off, and yeah, I probably have the most complete running back room at this point in the draft. My RB3 is probably only eclipsed by the team with Kenneth Walker, and then my RB4, I think I'm the only one with four. So no one's probably going to top that too much. But I could also argue that Jalen Warren's still going too high as well. Like there's a reason why he was falling. And maybe I've overdone it a little bit at running back, but I just know how gross it gets, and I like a lot of wide receiver values going forward, so I think it's going to be all right. Also, quarterback is not like dying out too quickly, but that team at 3 is really interesting. They went Taylor at a big reach, and then they've only drafted receiver with Pickens, Rashi, Devontae Smith, Burden, Marvin Harrison, and Parker Washington. I can't say I'm like in love with that team, but it is interesting, and anchor running back could actually be a very good move. Fuck it. Do I just take Pollard? This would be like so different than the team we drafted yesterday. You know what? Yeah. I'm gonna be done at running back probably until like the final round. Maybe I take like Adam Randall or someone, but look, it's just so opposite to what I did yesterday. I want to try it out, especially for $3. I think it's worth the risk. Angus as a Browns player having conduct issues, hard to believe, right? They always fuck up. And like he literally didn't sign until like week 1 practice. You know what I mean? Like he was never in the building until the last week of August. He's not someone I trust. So, especially given the team he plays for and like his injury situation up in the air, like yeah, he has really high upside. There were some good games, but losing Stefanski, moving to Todd Monken, I really don't think that's good. And then all of the variables involved with quarterback play, I I don't trust Quinshon Judkins there. I trust Swift so much more. So I am a Swift above Judkins for sure. But if you wanted to lobby that Judkins is more talented, I would agree. He's younger, probably more likely to stay healthy, but that didn't apply last year. Injuries are random, fluky, and at this point in time, I'm comfortable drafting Swift above Judkins. But I have laid it on a little thick at running back, so we do need to cool it. Jeremiah Love, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, Jalen Warren, and Tony Pollard. I mean, definitely going to have the best running back room, but is it going to be wise? I think I have to take receiver here. Let's go Addison. Addison also a little bit hard to trust in terms of his judgment. He keeps getting arrested, keeps getting behind the wheel of a car, intoxicated. I'm not going to defend his personal conduct, but on the field, he's shown such high upside. From a best ball standpoint, he's really an explosive player. So, at this price, also, what is his number off the board? At wide receiver 47. That feels like it's worth it. I know we don't trust JJ McCarthy. There's definitely a lot of risk involved there. But I'm still a believer that Aaron Rodgers could find his way there. I also think quarterback free agency is also really interesting. There's a chance that we get Kyler Murray or even Tua. I think that would be a safer bet than JJ McCarthy. And there's also a chance that McCarthy just takes a big leap Like it's also possible. I don't want to bet on it, but from like an athleticism standpoint, a talent standpoint, I really trust Jordan Addison above some other guys. So I think I have to go QB, and we do have JSN. So I think this might be a Darnold team, and then we'll see what happens later. But I do think Baker is just a better pick. Maybe Darnold circles back, but I genuinely just believe Baker's more valuable. Is the stack more valuable? That's an argument to be made as well. Maybe that's what makes it incorrect, but I'm legitimately willing to draft Baker where Mahomes is going. Like I think Baker right after Stafford is fair. I think there's some weird quarterback ranks at this point. So among the best values, I am a Baker supporter. I endorse his ADP pretty vehemently. And I genuinely believe that like injuries were some of the main reasons why the Bucks offense really fell off. But if we recall, first month of the season, we thought Baker was an MVP candidate. He hurt his shoulder. His receiving core got so banged up. Tristan Wirfs was never really healthy. Chris Godwin was never fully healthy. Like the Bucks were pretty snake bitten last year, and I would assume they're not going to be as injury plagued next season. We've seen truly elite upside out of Baker. And then there's also the chance I get Sam Darnold to circle back. So I'm going to take Baker at a slight discount. I think he really is the better value. While Darnold is fine, he just doesn't have that like top 4, top 5 upside on the season that I believe Baker has. Like if Baker throws another 40 touchdown passes, I'm not going to be shocked. If Darnold does that, I would be a bit surprised given the weapons that the Seahawks have and how things are going to change in free agency, especially with Rashid Shaheed possibly leaving, Cooper Kupp getting older, especially the loss of Clint Kubiak. I think Darnold is definitely on a bit of a downturn, and he does end up circling back. So I could go Debo, but will he remain in Washington? That I do not know. Debo's probably the better pick. Yeah, I think I have to take Debo. There's no way Darnold circles back again, but like it is possible. Um, but I think just from a build standpoint, I have Jaden Daniels and Baker Mayfield. I don't think taking my third right here is like the most necessary thing. I think taking my fourth wide receiver before like a drastic cliff is pretty valuable. Like if there wasn't this massive run on receiver that just happened around that turn, like I expected a little bit less orange around the 10-11 turn. It was almost strictly wide receiver. So like there's just nobody I think you can compare to Debo. Like everyone else that's even close has so many variables. Like it's just not really a safe argument. So we know running back is set on this team. We have Pollard as the RB5. I think I really just need to pivot back to wide receiver and also take a tight end soon. I don't think tight end is something I want to neglect either. If Debo wasn't there, I might have gone Dallas Goedert. I think Goddard is a very, very good price for tight end. Has 20-point upside any given week. But he's also a free agent, might be leaving town, going to a team that doesn't use him properly. But you never know. He might go to like the Niners and he's the new George Kittle. That's also possible. Because I don't know. They're paying George Kittle way too much. That's not going to happen. I take that back. But surprised that team didn't scoop up Rashid Shaheed. I'm going to take Rashid Shaheed then. I think a very safe. There's a reason I think there's a tier break after Debo, and then there's another reason why I think Shaheed is the number one receiver among the next tier. Like literally around this turn, there wasn't a single wide receiver taken, and some of that is roster construction, but some of that is also just value and like how much you trust them. If Shaheed returns to Seattle, that would be kind of disappointing. But then there's also a scenario where he goes to a great landing spot. I think he's a shoe-in for one of the Raiders acquisitions this offseason. Could follow Clint Kubiak. And if he just performs like he was in New Orleans, then he has so much spike week potential. He can drop 18, 20 points off of like 3 catches, and not that many players are able to do that. He can also score on special teams, and that's a nice contribution as well. I view him kind of like Percy Harvin, where you might get so much volatility you would never really start him with confidence in your typical redraft season-long league. But if you are desperate, if you're searching for that massive spike week, that is the type of player that like you can 100% justify it being worth it. And that's a best ball player, no doubt about it. So I like Debo from a floor standpoint. I like Shaheed from an upside standpoint. And I'm grateful that Shaheed circled back. But I do think at this point in time, I trust Debo a little bit more than Rashid Shaheed. I'm glad I have both of them. This receiving core, not too shabby, especially if Debo returns to the Commanders. That'd be fire when we have Jaden Daniels. But who knows? If anyone goes to the Commanders, I think it's Brandon Ayuk. Give me Brandon Ayuk on a team with Jaden Daniels. That feels almost destined to happen. Ayuk always wanted to go to the Commanders. Got his contract, I think tried to finagle as much money as possible. Maybe didn't read the fine print. Maybe didn't give a fuck about the voided contract. But Ayuk, I think, is the most likely free agent to sign in Washington. How much cap space do they have? That's a big factor. Let me go to over the cap. The Commanders have the 5th most cap space among any team in the NFL. First is the Titans, second is the Raiders, third is the Chargers, fourth is the Jets, and fifth is the Commanders with $75.4 million in cap space. I believe Ayuk will sign for less than 10, maybe less than 5 even. Give him a 1-year deal with Jaden Daniels, player he was a teammate with in college. That makes so much sense to me. Ayuk might be dog shit, but I think if you are going to take him, try to get him with Jaden Daniels. That's a ideal stack I think can line up. Okay. Tight end went on a bit of a run there, and it looks like Travis Kelce is no longer like dirt cheap. He used to be a 15th round pick. No longer is that the case. But Josh Downs was taken. We're going to go Jalen McMillan. We have Baker Mayfield, and I'm trying to round out this receiving room. I like it, especially if we do get lucky enough where Ayuk does end up landing with the Commanders. That'd be so dope. Especially if Debo doesn't. But to have both of them, I think, with Jaden Daniels is actually pretty sweet. But Jalen McMillan has awesome touchdown connection. Really good chemistry in the red zone with Baker. And he's the type of guy that even on like 3 catches can have like 2 touchdowns. Jalen McMillan, I think, is a really, really nice best ball value as well. I like being in the middle of the board on this one. Things are lining up well. We even got JSN at the 106. I never really see that happen. He's always top 5. So I gotta say, I like this team. We don't have a tight end yet. Maybe I'll hate it by the end, but so far I like this team. If you like it as well, give this live stream a like down below. Hit that like button. We have 25 people watching, only 10 likes. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Would appreciate it. A reminder on the full roster, we have Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, Jeremiah Love, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, Jalen Warren, Tony Pollard, JSN, Devontae Adams, Jordan Addison, Debo Samuel, Rashid Shaheed, Ayuk, and Jalen McMillan. And at the top of ADP, I like it. I don't think he goes back to Tampa, but let's take Rachaad White. Really, really talented running back in free agency. Not going to get the biggest contract, but I think because that reality is going to set in for him, like he's not Travis Etienne. He's not Breece Hall. He's not even David Montgomery, who might even be cut. I think him and J.K. Dobbins are on some similar footing in free agency right now. And I think just like Dobbins, I think Rashad is just going to accept that maybe going to the best possible location is the best move for you. Perhaps he gets stuck going to the Jets. Maybe that's the worst case scenario. But even if that happens, I think he'd be the most talented running back they would have. And it's kind of shocking how quickly he fell off once Bucky got there. But like, I still believe in Rachaad White. I really liked him coming out of college. He was like my third favorite prospect that year. I actually thought he was like better than James Cook at the time. Now I'm not going to say that today, but I did really like Rachaad White. And I think opportunity is really just all he's missing. He's an excellent pass catcher. Like, he is elite in that category. Go, if you're interested after this video or in a separate tab, search Rachaad White college highlights at ASU. He was awesome. He was really, really good. From a yak standpoint, it is hard to bring him down. He's also a candidate to go to Washington. He also played at Arizona. He was also linked to Jaden Daniels. So this team is actually like sneaky well correlated. But I'm really worried that this man is washed and will never be the same. But if there's someone this low that could put up top 5 numbers at the position, give me TJ Hawkinson as my tight end 1. Why not? This could be a 4 tight end build, possibly. And the swing on TJ Hawkinson I'm willing to take. I think there's also a chance that Josh Oliver is better than him. There's a world where TJ Hawkinson is just absolute dog shit. He's had a lot of knee injuries. I genuinely am concerned regarding TJ Hawkinson a little bit. But who knows? Maybe in round 20, I also draft Josh Oliver. But in case you never paid attention, which I wouldn't blame you, this is like D-Gen level knowledge. But there was a game where Josh Oliver had 2 touchdowns on 2 catches. So J.J. McCarthy kind of has a good connection with him. He also usually gets used in the red zone. Like, touchdowns are kind of his ballpark. Meanwhile, TJ Hawkinson definitely got a lot more snaps, but a lot fewer touchdowns. Okay, 1 fewer touchdown. He had 3 touchdowns. Oliver had 4. Obviously, the guy you want is still TJ Hawkinson, but I could see a world where he gets hurt again and Josh Oliver just takes over, and Oliver is actually like a really, really sneaky pick at tight end in the final round, especially at round 20. Round 18 in a different one, maybe not, but okay, I wanted to take a swing here. Could he circle back again? That's my thought process. Maybe. Nah, I'll take him. They at least have to give him a shot. We have 2 Vikings. We have Addison. We have TJ Hawkinson. The stack is justified, and he runs the ball enough where I think someone can take him unstacked at a discount, and it's totally a legitimate pick. Circling back, I would not be pissed about someone taking J.J. McCarthy and like quote unquote sniping me. I think it would be a more legit selection. But quarterback was a bit heavier on this side of the board. I could have maybe risked it, but that team with Justin Jefferson only has Brock Purdy and Malik Willis. So I think I actually made a very, very wise choice with McCarthy there. Not that he's like a surefire pick, but I think he's a very adequate QB3. And then I've also drafted a team that warrants him to be on the roster. So not going to take him too often, but I think it's justified. Damn, I wanted Steve the dog to make this decision for me, because I should probably just take Kate Otten. I'm going to do that. We have Baker Mayfield. We do not have Cam Ward. I like Gunnar Helm a lot. I think Gunnar Helm could be better. But then if you look at Kate Otten's stats, it was really just touchdowns that limited him last season. For whatever reason, last year was just terrible for Cade Otton in the touchdown department. He had 2 straight years with 4 touchdowns, so not like elite. But he had 81 targets, 59 catches for the second year in a row, and only 1 touchdown. I would assume that probably goes up. So from a stack standpoint, a usability standpoint, and a correlation standpoint, I think Cade Otton is the better pick for this roster than Gunnar Helm was. But there was also a world where I take Gunnar Helm and Cade Otton still circles back. We did that with J.J. McCarthy. The stack price is probably the main reason he goes there, but it's round 18. It doesn't matter. But I do like Aaron Rodgers a lot in this department. If we didn't get J.J. McCarthy, I would have been pretty happy with Aaron Rodgers, to be honest. But the odds that he actually is a Viking are still pretty slim. He's more likely a Steeler. And sadly, a player I was counting on, I was hoping to get, was Pat Freiermuth, actually. I was really interested in Pat Freiermuth as the tight end 3. But we can go Eli Stowers. Do I still need a receiver, though? There's only 2 rounds left. We have 6 running backs. We're done there. 3 QBs. We're done there. 7 receivers with JSN, Adams, Addison, Debo, Rashid Shaheed, Ayuk, and Jalen McMillan. I need another receiver. And I need another tight end. I'll queue up Eli Stowers. But that pick isn't critical. The rookie I'm really hyped on this late that I think could steam up the board is Jeremy Bernard. I think there's a world where Jeremy Bernard is drafted even like late round 2, but more likely like early round 3. I think he's going to be in that middle pack of wide receiver that's going to go in the top 100 picks. I think the wide receiver class, from what I'm reading so far, is actually pretty loaded, and there's going to be a lot of them chosen in the 2nd and 3rd round. I think he's more of a 3rd round likely candidate because he was a senior in college last year, and we've also seen some Kalen DeBoer wide receivers not really live up to the hype. But Jeremy Bernard has some decent stats. Let's pull up his college profile. I think I've shown you him on the channel before, but not super in depth. Okay. And last year at Alabama had 64 catches, 862 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Also 18 rush attempts, another 100 yards, so 5.6 yards per carry, and another 2 touchdowns. Had nearly 1,000 scrimmage yards on 82 touches, 9 touchdowns in 14 games. And he also played all 4 years. I think he could be like close to ready when the season kicks off. I think he might be like Torrey Horton-esque a little bit. Not as good, but like if he gets a great landing spot, I think it's possible. I view him similarly to Torrey Horton. But I might really regret this. This might be an atrocious selection. It probably is. Nah. Gimme Chigo Okonkwo. I was going to say, I think Ben Sinnott could correlate with Jaden Daniels pretty well, but Ben Sinnott is nowhere near the talent of Chigo Okonkwo, and Okonkwo is probably leaving the Titans. And we mentioned the salary cap space earlier. We have the Jets, number 4. The Chargers, I doubt, would bring him in. But there is the Commanders still sitting there at number 5. There's a world where the Commanders go big game hunting in terms of weapons and bring in Chigo Okonkwo. That would be really cool. The Bengals also have some legit cap space. They could bring in Chig. And then, other than that, I don't think I see anyone that's like really, really enticing, except maybe the Patriots, given Hunter Henry is starting to get a little bit older. But the Commanders being top 5 in cap space makes like free agent betting when you have Jaden Daniels, I think, a really, really interesting strategy. And we got Daniels at a really good price. I think this team is pretty good. I like this team quite a bit. Overall, this is a full recap. We have a 3-6-8-3, so probably the most typical build you could find. with Jaden Daniels slightly past ADP, not going to brag too much, only 4 picks, but still. Baker also 4 picks past ADP. JJ McCarthy 13 picks past ADP, so everyone at a little bit of a discount, and I think the combination is pretty interesting because all three can run the ball, and that does offer some spike week potential. Running back, though, is fucking loaded with Jeremiah Love, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, Jalen Warren, Tony Pollard, and Rashad White. A little uninspiring in terms of like absolute dominance and like elite potential. But like everyone here can drop 20 points in a given week. You're not going to be shocked. And I think having Jeremiah Love with so many variables of like where will he land, how good can he actually be, a rookie is just not secured but has so much potential. I really like this room at the position of running back. Jeremiah Love and 4 established veterans, 4 of which are like clear starters, and then Rashad White with a chance to also be a starter. This is actually pretty sweet. Wide receiver, we took JSN, Devontae Adams, and then quite a few gambles, but Addison, Debo, Shaheed, Ayuk, Jalen McMillan, and Jeremy Bernard. I'm interested. This feels like it can compete because JSN's in the lineup every fucking week. Adams going to score another 15 touchdowns probably, so that's a heavy contribution. And then I like my running back room enough where I don't think I need that many flex contributions out of wide receiver here. And then tight end, obviously there's going to be a weakness when the rest of the roster, I think, is that complete. TJ Hawkinson, huge upside, but such a low floor, massive gamble. Maybe it works out, but at least a year removed from injury, I'm not going to give up on him entirely, but I am genuinely concerned he might be washed. And then Otten with Baker makes a lot of sense. Should bounce back in touchdowns. Hopefully it's the career high next season. And then Chigo Okonkwo is a free agent, might land in Washington, and that would save my ass quite a bit. So, yeah, let me know what you think of the team in the live chat. Hit that like button if you think it's a good one. And we will be drafting a big board after this, but I do want to take a look at Dirty P's roster just real quick. He went Cook, Hampton, love that. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, love that. Ramondre. I think I might have taken a quarterback there instead of Ramondre. That I appreciate you passing on Daniels. Kraft, I love, but then Mahomes and Love, still really good picks. Jaden Reed with Love, that's awesome. Dobbins, one of my favorite picks. And Emmett Johnson at 136. Fuck. What a value on Emmett Johnson. Damn, good job. Travis Kelce, one of the steals of the draft, who I was hoping to get. Elijah Surratt, excellent rookie potential, but needs a good landing spot. Adonai Mitchell, not my favorite click, but absolutely high upside. Trey Tucker, Omar Cooper Jr., Emmanuel Wilson, probably an underrated option. And then Jalen Royals with Mahomes, not bad at all. And then Mariota could sign somewhere, but I don't think there's any world where he's the starter. I have heard, though, the potential that he could be going to Minnesota, given the Kevin O'Connell connection. I've heard that somehow they're like linked. I don't know how. I don't know all the details, but I've heard him rumored to go to Minnesota potentially, and that would be an interesting landing spot. But definitely a backup QB with running value. So maybe he backs up Mahomes. Maybe he's the new Gardner Minshew. That'd be pretty cool. As a Jets quarterback, nah. You lost me there, bro. That's even worse. Reached a little on Kittle. I think it was 100% justified. You had Mahomes. If you didn't take him in the following round, when you took Surratt, I wanted to take him in round 14. So, good strategy to take him before I got a chance, at the very least. And then you have the stack, so totally legit. Cowboys also drafting high. Hurts is a great value. Cowboys would be awesome if they got Jeremiah Love. Agreed, if you want to bet that the Vikings will improve at quarterback next year, then I would rather take Addison over JJ, since both will greatly benefit. Yeah, the risk of Jefferson where he goes is so punitive. If it's not round 2, I'm not really willing to do it. And then I think you can argue Jefferson should be going like behind Nico Collins. Not behind Rashi Rice, but behind Nico Collins, I think you could argue is a fair price on Jefferson. I'm not going to be drafting much Jefferson, especially if he goes top 10. But Reflect the Sun, like the team. I think it's pretty good. A quick reminder before we move on, we will be drafting a big board in like a minute. We got JSN, Jeremiah Love, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Swift, so heavy at running back. Then got Jaden Daniels and got some falling values at running back. Tried to maybe bury some other teams in this lobby at the position. And we take Tony Pollard. I was a little shocked the team with Monungai passed on Pollard, but he is older and Corum has some high upside. But I would have gone Pollard personally. I was happy to get him as my RB5. Then we had to hammer receiver for a while. Addison, Baker, Debo, Rashid Shaheed, Ayuk, hoping that he goes to the Commanders. If not, Debo could go there. Again, doubt it, but it's possible. And then Jalen McMillan for the Mayfield stack. Rashad White, also free agent, might go to Washington. TJ Hawkinson, JJ McCarthy to have a double stack in Minnesota. Otten to complete our stack with Baker, paired with McMillan. And then Jeremy Bernard, a rookie I like. And Chigo Okonkwo, free agent with talent, has put up solid numbers in the past. That was the team. Jets double stack you landed. Good luck, buddy. A.D. Mitchell, Garrett Wilson, and Marcus Mariota. I would have just gone Justin Fields, man. I think I would have just gone Justin Fields. But if you're right, could be interesting. If you're right, but that's a big if, bro. Big if. PPR Tyler, yes, I did say Jeremy Bernard, and you are someone I have to thank. You pointed out Jeremy, looked into his stats, looks phenomenal, and then I've already fallen hard and been led astray with Kalen DeBoer wide receivers in the past. Roma Dunze, I still can't quit. We got Jalen McMillan on this team, one of my favorite picks on the board, and then I still have a little bit of hope for Jalen Polk, but that ship has sailed. Thank you for the tip on PPR Tyler. One more shout out. Recommend PPR Tyler if you have not checked out that channel already. Give him a sub. Give him. He's probably going live at 4 p.m. like he normally does. So let's hop into a draft and get ahead of that while we can. Maybe after this draft, y'all can head over to PPR Tyler's channel and check it out for yourself. But we are going to definitely do a big board this time around. Let's get it going. I will make sure it's on the phone. I think that's the new routine. I think I'm going to keep sticking with that because I do not want anyone to like draft 2 in a row just because I fucked up with the location. So hope you're ready. Hope it's queued up. I'll give you another 5-10 seconds just to make sure, but we got it on the phone. We're ready. We're in the big board, the $10 entry, and I think you should be hitting it in 3, 2, 1, and then I will hit it in 3, 2, 1, and we should be in the same room. 5 more to start, down to 4, 3 spots left. Come and get it if you want. If you just want to spectate, that is also perfectly fine. But once I get this lobby set up, let's go to, this is what I'm looking for. 3 spots still remaining in the big board. If you want one, vámonos. And drop a like if you can. We're at 19 likes. Let's at least get that to 20. So somebody give me that 20th like, please. I would appreciate it. The lobby is full. Draft will be underway. We get the 103. Nice. We get the 103. There's a chance at Jahmyr Gibbs, but even if that's not the case, I think I might be drafting my first Jamar Chase team on the live stream. We have yet to take Jamar Chase. He's on the thumbnail. If I don't get Gibbs, which I think he should be going at the 102, then I'll just go Jamar Chase. But given our last draft was a wide receiver in the first round with JSN, if I have the opportunity to take Jahmyr Gibbs, who I think is more valuable, I will take him. But Mr. Mufasa, welcome. What's up, everyone? Nice to see you. You're in here at the 7. Love to see that. And then anyone else? We got Lol Samo, another member of the audience, and Dirty P once again. If you have any of the other spots which I don't recognize, I apologize, and let me know if you're in here, if that's the case. 10th round Baker? I know, right? Like, it seems a little bit ludicrous. Jahmyr Gibbs goes at the 101. Bijan goes... Damn. Amori does not do me any favors. I will take Ja'Marr Chase. We will stick with the thumbnail. Good luck. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. But Angus and y'all know Pepper Tony. Pepper Tony. Check out Pepper Tony's appearance on Who Hames channel, by the way, Angus. Check out Who Hames. Had Pepper Tony on yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. And hopefully I'll be on Who Hames channel next week. We'll confirm later today which day of the week that is going to happen on. But next week, fingers crossed, knocking on wood, will make an appearance on Who Hames channel. But Pepper Tony was on there, I believe, yesterday. And that's a good video. I'd recommend anyone to check that out. But Puka over Chase, for me, I think that's totally legit. I have no shares of Ja'Marr Chase at this point in time. I actually have not taken Ja'Marr up to this point. It's not been because I've been avoiding it. It's been because I just haven't lined up to take him. I've gotten like anytime I've been in the 4 slot, I've gotten like a fall on Jahmyr Gibbs, and I've taken him. And I've also taken Puka in the 4 when a similar situation. Wait, was it Puka? No, I think once I took JSN over him as just like, I think JSN's pretty good, but I just went over my exposures. I don't have enough Ja'Marr Chase. I do not want to have 0% Ja'Marr Chase. So I've drafted so much on the back end and middle, and then every time I'm in the front, I have like the 101 or the 102. So this is why I'm taking Ja'Marr, for the sake of exposure. But I think it's a clear tier between Ja'Marr, Puka, and JSN. Odds are Puka's the better pick, but if you told me Ja'Marr was the Triple Crown winner again, wouldn't be shocked. JSN could definitely be the best receiver as well. They're all live, and I just need my shares. Sup, Who Hames? Welcome in. I assumed you would have gone live today, and then after a while I noticed that wasn't the case. You posted the Omar Cooper Jr. highlights. That was dope. Check that out. And nice to see you're in here. Welcome in. Speak of the devil. But I think despite these two teams around the turn already having a running back, I think I have to take my favorite running back with my next pick. Because I genuinely have seen so many teams go triple RB to start these lobbies. Enough that I'm not going to let that happen to me. I don't have a shit ton of Derrick Henry. Yeah, I'll take him. Almost went Breece Hall there, though. Almost took Breece. I did not want to set up a Ja'Marr Chase Brown team, I'll be honest. Wasn't quite my desired outcome. That team with Bijan goes Chase Brown, go ahead. I don't want to feel locked in to a Joe Burrow stack right now, knowing I'm probably not going to get it. If I pass on T. Higgins, I'm just not going to get Joe Burrow. So I want to give myself the option to not feel so compelled about reaching on T. Higgins. Brees does go, and it's definitely in the cards that the nightmare scenario I predicted does occur, where around the turn we see 4 straight running backs. Nope, he goes Pickens, so I can at least still get Kenneth Walker, my preferred pick here. I'm fine with Olave. I'm not as comfortable with Jacobs over Walker. And then Rashee Rice, unless I get him to fall, I'm not taking a Chief in the 3rd round, especially one that's about to serve 30 days in jail before the next season kicks off. I'm going to pass on the bad karma of Rashee Rice. He will fall. He is going to fall. There will be some headline, probably when he checks into jail, when he checks into prison, that has him plummet. At least around, I don't think Rashi's going to stay here. So we took Jamar Chase already. Want to get in at running back before it dies down. And you cannot pay me to take Rashee Rice over Kenneth Walker as of today. Maybe a month from now, I'll have a different opinion if Kenneth Walker goes to the Jets or just has like a terrible landing spot. But I would imagine he just returns to Seattle. He won the Super Bowl MVP. Are they really going to let him go or move on? That'd be ridiculous. With the injury to Zach Charbonnet, that'd be crazy. Like, he's a free agent, but I would lock it in like 99, 95. Okay, yeah, we'll go 95% certainty that Kenneth Walker is a Seahawk yet again. But I think Bijan, Gibbs, Chase, Puka are all the same tier. Based on how this year is going, I think I'm going to take a running back over those receivers. I think I'll still go RB, but I understand making it a 4-person tier rather than two-person tiers. Right. Their GM was drunkenly making jokes about their negotiation at the Super Bowl parade. Odds are very high he's back. Yeah, everyone knows. The writing's on the wall. It'd be pretty insane if it didn't happen. For him to win the MVP, Charbonnet not to be healthy, and then just be like, yep, you can go. Go to the Jets or Cowboys or even the Chiefs, hypothetically. Like, it's not going to happen. Egbuka goes. Would have liked Egbuka, but Dirty P knows my strategy. But we do not get Zay Flowers. That would have been pretty nice. But I think I'm pretty comfortable with Devontae Smith. I think the potential that Devontae is the wide receiver 1 overwhelmingly in Philadelphia is pretty high. I am willing to maybe not fully bet on, but I think it's very likely that A.J. Brown gets traded. I don't know where it'll be. I think the Patriots are a pretty obvious candidate, but really anywhere I would think would be happy to have him. Like, watch him go to the Chargers, hypothetically. Like, that I think is also on the table. A.J. Brown, I don't think is an Eagle next year. I really don't. So Devontae Smith would move up significantly if he is traded. I think both of them would rise dramatically if traded. And it probably doesn't happen until the draft. Like, night of the draft, I think it could legitimately happen. But is Calvin going to take Travion at a discount? Yeah, he does. We mentioned passing on Quinshon. I'm not going to overwhelm receiver. I'm going to go with Carnell Tate. I've taken a lot of Waddle, and I think he's a good value, but just like my drafting of Jamar Chase over Puka, I need to balance out some exposures at this point in time. And Carnell Tate, I think, is a player that absolutely should be going in the 5th, and I've been trying to get him in the late 5th a little too often, and I feel like I've passed on him when I probably shouldn't have a couple too many times. So I'm gonna grab Carnell Tate. I think anywhere in the fifth is totally fine for these wide receivers. Like some of them are gonna be drafted really, really high. Like top 10 picks, I think is pretty likely because some of the teams drafting in the top 10 are very needy at that position. Maybe we can, yeah, let's remind ourselves of the draft board. NFL draft. Where the fuck are you? That's weird. Here we go. How many picks left? Okay, yeah, we got some time. So, we're not projecting a receiver to go to the Raiders in round 1, but probably round 2. Then they got the Jets. Doubt it. Cardinals. Doubt it. Titans. It's on the board. Doubt it, but it's on the board. They draft super high in the second. That's more likely where they're going to go, wide receiver, but it is possible. I also think it's very unlikely, but possible that it goes to the Giants. The Browns would be a shit landing spot, but maybe not atrociously bad. They're a possible wide receiver in round 1 team. So are the Commanders. So are the Saints. It'd be so fucking stupid if the Bengals did it. But who knows? Watch Jerry Jones' dementia like really be on display, and he goes wide receiver at pick 12. But it's also possible to the Dolphins. That's not ideal though. I'm almost on the clock. Daniels is falling again. That's interesting, but Burrow also falling, so either of those would be sweet. There are 2 picks though. I would imagine both of them get sniped. But this team already has Lamar. Maybe not. Sweet, we're getting at least Jaden Daniels or Joe Burrow. Fuck yeah. With Jamar Chase, the clear pick is Joe Burrow. And he is there. Let's go. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Carnell Tate, Derrick Henry, and Kenneth Walker. Feels good. The team with T. Higgins did pass. Where did they took Drake May instead because of the falling ADP. Thank you. Appreciate it. But we took Jalen Warren in the last one and we went like super heavy RB. I'm not feeling that repeat strategy. I don't want to take Warren again. And I did kind of feel like there was a little bit of merit to the like scenario where he sucks. Like in terms of ADP value, I could see him not even eclipse like 2 rounds from this price. He did have 197 points last year. But I'll go wide receiver. Almost pivoted to Ricky Pearsall at the last second, but I don't have a lot of DK Metcalf either. I've been ignoring DK Metcalf, who is here to good price discount, so I'm glad I let it expire. I'm glad we got stuck with DK Metcalf after it ran out of time. But especially with Mike McCarthy coming in, like the Mike McCarthy wide receivers have excelled. They have excelled. Been some AJ Brown to the Ravens smoke. That one is possible. That would be a bit of a bummer, honestly. But I think wherever he gets traded, he's going to play so much better than he did last year. I think he's going to have such a better outcome. Like the fact that we're getting a discount on AJ Brown this year and having to pay a premium on Justin Jefferson, I think is crazy. I think you could literally swap Justin Jefferson and AJ Brown in the ADP right now, and it would totally work out. Pass me Jaden again? You did. You went Evans over Daniels. Don't hate it. You have Igbuka as well, so I imagine you're targeting Baker. But I don't know, man. You know what? You went Bowers in round 2. I understand not going super early at QB. I get it. But I think you might regret that. Passing on Jaden too much, I think you might regret. Now, he could have a lot of injury problems again. That's also possible. So perhaps you don't. But I think from the upside, any given spike week, like his ability to drop 30 plus points, I think was worth it there over Evans. Angus loves Michael Wilson and Ricky Pearsall. The thing about Ricky P is his injury concerns. Like, he has never put together a string of like a full healthy, even like 6-week stretch. Ricky Pearsall is not a trustworthy, safe option. Always on the questionable tag, if not IR. Like Ricky Pearsall, availability is important. DK Metcalf is not a player I'm worried about in terms of availability. Only a suspension is going to keep DK Metcalf off the field most of the time. And then with Michael Wilson, right now, I just don't really know about their quarterback situation. It's probably Jacoby Brissett, but I think losing Drew Petzing is actually a big deal. Because I really don't think who they get this year, Arizona Cardinals offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett, bro. Let's let Michael Wilson slip, because right now there's still hope that like they're gonna trade for someone. And it's not gonna be Kyler Murray and Brissett again. But I'll take DK Metcalf over Michael Wilson. But I get it. I get the hype as well. Ooh, interesting. We get pick 94, Jacoby Myers to fall, but Quentin Johnston I think is a better selection. I'll take QJ over Jacoby Myers. Myers in an extremely crowded offense. Parker Washington, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter. Really high scoring offense, but I think a bit more of a floor play compared to Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston in best ball, I think, is a better pick. Also, they were like the same ADP, both at 86. Jacoby a little bit fractionally higher than QJ, but there we go. My official rankings, I have Quentin Johnston above Jacoby Myers. There was not much hesitation there. But damn, we're getting Pollard at 99? Fuck yeah. Given, I mean, yeah, I'm going to do it. Given the state of running back and like the addition of Brian Dable there, like Pollard has not shown you enough to indicate he's relinquishing that job to Tyjae Spears. And Tyjae Spears is just perennially injured, so yeah, the team at pick 1 with the 4 running back log to start off this draft, 4 straight running backs, does pass on Pollard. And then the team that took Travion and an unstacked Oronde Gadsden passes on Pollard as well, twice. Damn. Good value on Pollard. I already thought Pollard was like mispriced, and he's going at the 7-8 turn. We got him in round 9. I could argue Pollard is like the next best running back off the board following DeAndre Swift. Swift in the 5th, all the way down to Pollard, feels like a huge mismatch in terms of return on investment compared to every other player going off there. Like, compared to all the QBs, dog shit return on investment. Compared to some of these receivers, like Mike Evans could potentially drop another 15 touchdowns. I don't get like Kyle Monungai and like Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard. Like, Pollard is the only one who like can give you 95 yards per game next season on average, and then also drop 10 plus touchdowns just because the offense is like elite. Like, if you look up Pollard and just give him the average touchdowns, Pollard last season only had 5 touchdowns. The year before, 5 as well. But 4 years ago, he had 12. And now the Titans have like Brian Dable as just the OC, doesn't have to worry about the defensive game plan at all. I think the Robert Saleh, Brian Dable combo is actually going to be really good. Like, similar to the Jets, we've also seen a lot of NFL personnel really excel whenever they leave New York, whether it be the Jets or the Giants. Like, look at Daniel Jones. Like, did get hurt, but looked fucking awesome outside of the Giants. And then even Dable was, like, pretty elite with Buffalo and Josh Allen for a while before he was with the Giants. So I think there's a chip on both of those coaches' shoulders, and I think the fact that they are paired up together is one of, like, the most complete coaching duos that was acquired in free agency this year. But damn, Denzel Boston here? Fuck yeah. I mean, I've been passing on quarterback, but like, it's been worth it every fucking time. So here's the full roster. Our receiver room is fucking dope. Joe Burrow stacked with Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Carnell Tate, DK Metcalf, Quentin Johnston, and Denzel Boston. Carnell Tate is probably going to go top 10, top 15 at the worst. I mean, I can't imagine a Ohio State wide receiver is not being drafted top 10 this year. And then Denzel Boston probably is like mid round 1 as well. Like, I think both of them are going in round 1. Is Darnold going to circle back? I would love that. Especially with Kenneth Walker here. Please, Calvin. You have 2 quarterbacks already. Take Juwan Jennings. Goes JCM. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Fucking worth it. What if the Seahawks draft Denzel Boston? Like, how much longer do you really trust Cooper Kupp to stay healthy? How much do you really believe in Torrey Horton to stay healthy? And then are you actually going to pay to keep Rashid Shaheed? Seahawks drafting wide receiver early is on the board. Their defense is complete. Their tight end room is pretty legit. Yo, Seahawks are actually a really interesting landing spot for any wide receiver, whether it be round 1 or round 2. That is actually a sneaky, underrated option to come out of the NFL draft. That would be so cool if we got Denzel Boston hypothetically stacked up with with Sam Darnold, post NFL draft, coming out of this, the eligibility to draft these teams. Huhaim says interior O-line. I get it. That's definitely live as well. But what if they're all taken? You know, the Chargers are drafting interior O-line. The Seahawks are drafting 32nd. They're the last pick of the first round. Now, wide receiver is deep. They could definitely consider wide receiver at the end of round 2 as well. But imagine if Denzel Boston like makes it to the end of the first round, or maybe they get Casey Concepcion. You know, what if that happens? Interior O-line is like the obvious combination if you want to play it safe. Like, usually taking any offensive lineman early in the draft is usually like your best way to go. The hit rate is just so much better than like any other offensive lineman you're taking round 2 and later. And then compared to any other position, the hit rate on offensive linemen is also pretty safe. as well. Like wide receiver is kind of 50-50. Wide receiver is pretty risky. Like look at Ricky Pearsall, another round one receiver. Was that really worth it? Time is still yet to be determined on the outcome of that. Look at Rome Odunze. Looked good, but year one was pretty bad. Look at Quentin Johnston. Year one was pretty bad. Last 2 years have been a little bit better, but James Conner is on the board here. I've not taken much James Conner. This is kind of like an anti-draft for me. I think I'm gonna get in at tight end. I think Juwan Johnson's pretty safe. Had over 100 targets last year. Taysom Hill is like firmly in the past. And Tyler Shuck has a pretty good connection with him. From a volume standpoint, Juwan Johnson is someone capable of giving you like 9+ targets a game. Last year had 102. I believe he got injured and missed some time. There was a stint where he was pretty bad, though. We'll pull up his stats after this pick. But I've ignored the position for a very long time. And then we chucked tight end a little bit too much in the last draft. So, this is kind of a tough call, but my receiver position is so loaded. I need to get back in at running back, and we have Tony Pollard. I think the only risk with Tony Pollard is that he gets somehow overtaken by Tajay. That I think is the only scenario where it doesn't work out. But we've also seen multiple Brian Dable running backs really work for fantasy purposes. Like look at Scadaboo, fucking instantly taken over, playing very well, and then. Even Tyrone Tracy was like involved in their offense. We've seen Devin Singletary in the past contribute in the Buffalo Bills offense. Like the Brian Dable running back is a little bit of a committee sometimes. And I think there's going to be enough touchdowns to go around between them to have like ping pong effects. I think pairing up Pollard and Tajay for the price is pretty legit. I was in love with Tajay last year until he got hurt, and I stuck with it a little too long. So I was burned by Tajay and don't want to get burned again. But I think where he's going in the like handcuff tier, I'm pro locking down the Titans running back. So give me Tajay here at the 147. Mega Bucks may have been a bad idea. Dirty P went Igbuka, Evans, Baker, Godwin. And right now his running backs are Taylor, Swift, Jordan Mason. Little thin at running back, yeah. Has Tyler Shuck, Fernando Mendoza, and Brock Bowers, though. Maybe taking Bowers instead of a running back, I think, might have been what made it a little tricky. But I like the Bucks investment, especially if Evans doesn't stay there. That's pretty good. But, I apologize, man. I needed tight end, bro. Just needed tight end. Was not intentional. Didn't realize that was you. Apologies, bro. I honestly almost took Kelsey instead of Tajay Spears. Can't have 0 Bowers. Yeah. That's another player I got to catch up with. I'm behind on Bowers. I think I've only taken him once, and I've done enough drafts where does not feel appropriate. Should be taking him a little bit more. But in general, I've been only willing to get like Trey McBride at a value. You never get Bowers at a value. So I just got to start taking him more. Probably should have gone Emmett Johnson, but couldn't pass the value on Jennings. Right. Jawan Jennings going that low. You don't have Purdy, but he can go elsewhere. He could go to the Saints. That's possible. They could also draft a receiver. I think I'll probably take AJ Barner off the board because running back is not that exciting. QB, nah. Wide receiver, not great. Yeah, just give me AJ Barner. We got Juwan Johnson, AJ Barner, right at ADP. We reached a little bit on Juwan, but around the long turn, you got to take who you would like. And I forgot to pull up Juwan Johnson. So we'll get back to him after this pick. Is this a Jonathan Brooks team? Henry, Walker, Pollard, and Tajay. Maybe. Don't love it, but actually, no. I'm getting Torrey Horton well above ADP. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. I've been seeing him rise more and more, and we have to wait 20 picks or 18 or whatever. Give me Torrey Horton. We have Darnold. We have AJ Barner. And I haven't seen him fall back to 190 in a while. So, going to take him at 171. I think this is just the new price for Torrey Horton. He'll soon be going in the 14th alongside Pat Bryant and Jalen McMillan, most likely. I think he's that good of a pick. We saw Trey Harris get taken at 169, top of round 15. I think people are wising up to what used to be a really good value and like saviors at wide receiver in terms of depth late. And Torrey Horton, one of my favorite picks. What if DK Metcalf starts getting the jerk face Devontae Adams touchdowns? Possibly. Is this my first draft? No, it's my second. Sorry. I missed this section of the chat. Stacking that AFC North. Did I? Oh, yeah, I did. Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry. Didn't realize. Better to be lucky than smart sometimes. Algier, he's going to get paid. Where do we pass on Algier? Where does he go? I took Pollard over Algier. I think the price discount I got on Pollard with the security of knowing that he starts the season as the RB1 and like is the guy. I'm more comfortable taking Pollard there, but I don't hate the price on Algier. I think it's fine, given the variables of Jadarian Price as a rookie, also in that section. I think Algier is one of the more coveted free agent running backs. Him and Rashad White, I think, are sneaky, but the price is highest on him. I also think Dobbins is very sneaky, and then obviously like Etienne and Breece Hall are the two gems because Walker's going to stay put. Mecole Hardman, second round, totally worth it. Right? So is Sky Moore as well. Sky Moore. He was worth it. Remember him? Boy, I liked him way too much as well. I was pissed that the Chiefs got Sky Moore. I thought the Chiefs getting Sky Moore was like gonna be really, really bad for everyone else. I thought it was like, fuck. But that's probably a good sign. If I'm like hyped on a receiver that falls to the end of the second round, then I'm probably cursing your franchise. Sky Moore was my guy that season. Damn, that was a terrible call. But landing spot is very important. We're gonna go Omar Cooper Jr. and call it done at wide receiver. Another rookie, but very, very high outcomes. And I talked myself into the Seahawks being like such a sweet landing spot at wide receiver that like now I'm just like, yo, give me someone to stack with Darnold in that range. Omar Cooper Jr. might be going in that region as well of the draft. A lot of sharp minds are hyping up Omar Cooper Jr. And I don't want to be taking no rookies, even if I don't know like definitively how valuable they are. But he seems like someone that might be rising quickly. So I will then go Tank Bigsby. I think Tank Bigsby is one of my favorite handcuffs on the board at the moment. Like such an elite upside swing if things go wrong for Saquon. And like if you're telling me when the big board and like the pre-draft is over and these drafts whittle down to only 18 rounds, because right now they're 20 rounds. So that's why I kind of understand why there's a bit of a lull in running back and some of these names fall. But like after some of the hype on rookies dies out and like free agency fizzles out and you're just straight up evaluating handcuffs, how the fuck is Tank Bigsby not in line with like, I almost want to say Blake Corum, but obviously that's ridiculous. How is he not in line with at least Zach Charbonnet? You know what I'm saying? Like the upside of the Eagles handcuff is so exponential and so valuable. There's a lot of moving parts there that make me think the Eagles aren't going to be as good, but like still, you would get 20 touches a game minimum out of Tank Bigsby if Saquon goes down, and probably like a 60% touchdown rate minimum, like probably more than 50% touchdowns in that Eagles scheme. So I think he's a smash. Obviously, he's a handcuff. He could be a zero just like any other handcuff, but like give me Tank Bigsby all day right now. I think he could be a massive riser. I have been smashing Tank Bigsby at like a ridiculous rate whenever I'm in need of running back in this section. Like once we peter out after like Rachaad White, Braylon Allen, I'm not excited to take Joe Mixon. I very rarely am excited to take Dylan Sampson. Give me Tank Bigsby. And like, there's at least hope that I can easily talk myself into with Tank Bigsby. I think he's a really, really sweet option at this stage. But I just remembered we ignored Juwan Johnson yet again. So let's just take another peek. 11 targets, 8 catches, 76 yards, 9 targets, 8 targets in the first 3 weeks. He was a monster. 28 targets in the first 3 weeks. Then he had a rough stint the following 3 weeks. Maximum is 4 targets, 2 catches. So, yikes. Then 7 targets, 8 targets again. 4, but 4 for 4, 92 and a touchdown both of these weeks with a touchdown. He can also still do that. He's not, irrelevant at the position for just touchdown upside in general. And then to close out the year, 7 targets, 9 targets, 4, 4, 9, 4, 5. 2 games with over 89 yards. Juwan Johnson's pretty legit, but I also need some depth at tight end, and we are pretty pot committed to the Titans. Give me Gunnar Helm here as my third tight end. We got Juwan Johnson, A.J. Barner. Gunnar Helm, 15 picks past ADP, is a bit of a savior. Not that there aren't any other tight ends. I would be fine with Pat Freiermuth here as well, but Gunnar Helm, I think, has some high hopes, where Chigo Okonkwo should be leaving. And then on top of that, I think just the nature of the Brian Dable system. Cam Ward, I think, will play well. Definitely better. And he has like some really high upside as a passer. Look at his college stats. There's a reason he went number 1 overall. He can sling it, but we need another running back. But I also need a quarterback. Damn, we got a little boxed out there. Worst comes to worst, we'll go Damon Claiborne. I've been trying to click Damon Claiborne a little bit more recently. Not that I know what's going to happen with him, but someone that's being drafted, so is going to put up points in this contest. I don't want to be completely out on him. I want to be a little bit competitive with Claiborne. And ideally, I get him in round 20, but I think with the long turn, he was the top of ADP. I knew I needed a running back, so I'll just take him. I thought we might still have Aaron Rodgers, so with that out of the question, somebody already took him. Who took Rodgers from me? BIIRM. That team had Jackson Dart, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers. Very fair click. But would I have gone Rodgers over Tank Bigsby? No. No, I'm not there yet with Rodgers, but I think in the final 3 rounds, it's completely on the board to take Rodgers. And he will play. I really think he will. Obviously, he might not, but I think he will. And it would have lined up perfectly with our DK Metcalf selection. So just wasn't the draft to get him. More people have been wising up to Rodgers as a very legit candidate. But this last pick is going to be quarterback. So I guess, yeah, it's worth digging in a little bit deeper. I do think Cousins is probably getting released. I think it's possible that him and Tua could get traded. Like, it seems like the report is here expected to be cut by Atlanta. So odds are he's going to play as a starter. He could be Brock Purdy's backup if a team trades for Mac Jones. But if you're going to trade for Mac Jones, then why not just sign Kirk Cousins? Because he's getting paid quite a bit. He might sign for a low amount. I doubt it. He's someone that just takes the check. But I think Kirk Cousins is on the market more likely than not. Mac Jones, probably the most coveted trade acquisition. But will San Francisco give him up? That I'm not so sure. I do think Jameis Winston is actually kind of interesting just because Jackson Dart is going to be in the blue tent like crazy, and Jameis is under contract. So I actually think Jameis Winston is like interesting, but only if I have what's his face? Jackson Dart. Like I need to be handcuffing. I also think Davis Mills is super sneaky. No one takes him. He's buried, but I don't think CJ Stroud has locked up his job. I do not believe that is the case. And then there's also Justin Fields who can run the ball like crazy. But we queued up Kirk Cousins at the top for a reason. He's definitely the best quarterback on the market. And that's exactly what this team needs. A third quarterback that will play the majority of snaps. Even if he stays in Atlanta, I don't think it's impossible that he also gives us some games as the starter. I don't think Penix has like totally secured his role. And he's also coming off an injury. But I'm just going to assume that news blurb on Cousins was accurate and they are expecting him to be cut. So Kirk Cousins is our final pick. Typically, I want Rodgers, and that was my plan, but he was off the board, so we pivoted to Damon Claiborne instead because he wasn't there when Gunnar Helm was top of ADP. So that's the team. We took Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry, Ken Walker, Devontae Smith, Carnell Tate, Joe Burrow, DK Metcalf, Quentin Johnston, Tony Pollard, Denzel Boston, Sam Darnold, Juwan Johnson, Tyjae Spears, AJ Barner, Torrey Horton, Omar Cooper Jr., Tank Bigsby, Gunnar Helm, Damon Claiborne, and Kirk Cousins. So at least I have one like massive swing with Claiborne. He's interesting. Not like the most exciting prospect I could imagine because like in the days of NIL, if you're not getting paid by one of the major schools, like that's going to be a little bit more of like an indictment on their talent. You know what I mean? Like he stayed at Wake Forest all 4 years. So loyal in the ACC, not going to pretend like he's a bum. Some of these stats are fairly legit, but like I would have loved to see him kind of transfer. Honestly, like in this day and age, if he transferred to like a tougher conference, like a bigger school, I might like him a little bit more. But some legit stats here, you know, like not like insane yards per carry numbers. Last 2 years, 4.6, 5.1, but 11 rushing touchdowns as a junior, 10 as a senior, and then also some decent catching ability, 23 receptions as a junior, 28 last year, but then his yards per catch really plummeted last season. The stats dipped as a senior. Like I don't know. Like this guy is super boom bust. Like this guy might be going in like the seventh round. Um, Landing spot is crucial for Claiborne. So, I don't think this was a great pick, but like just drafting any rookie obviously has like just the roulette appeal to it, and like people are drafting him. So, I'll click him on occasion, but kind of got caught off by surprise a little bit with the Aaron Rodgers snipage. My original plan was to go Rodgers and Fryermuth around this 18-19 turn, and then just take some random running back in the 20. But we had to pivot. Rodgers was taken, so that's what ended up happening. Gunnar Helm, Damon Claiborne, Kirk Cousins. Not as exciting as Rodgers, Fryermuth, and then who knows, maybe even Claiborne in round 20. So, yeah, unfortunate final 3 rounds, but it's a big board. It's going to be sharp. Don't expect never to get sniped. It's just how it goes. Anyways, that is it. We could mention Mufasa's team real quick if you would like it. Let me know, Mufasa. Would you like a team review? Don't want to force it if you're not interested, but I see you went 0 RB, so I'm very curious. Honestly, I'm gonna at least gonna check it out. Lamb, McBride, Allen, Adams, Mackay Lemon, sweet. Marvin Harrison, Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, Tyler Algier. So ideally, Rico signs elsewhere. That would be ideal. But how would you feel if you get both of them to stay in Carolina? Like Chuba's obviously under contract, and then the Rico Dowdle's a free agent. But um, would you be fine with that, or are you like betting on Dowdle going elsewhere? I'm curious what your take is on Dowdle's in free agency. Algier at a very good value. Angus like that pick. Emmett Johnson as well. Really nice pick. Round 11. Shaheed, we like that click. Josh Downs feels like a steal as well. I haven't clicked Downs on the stream very much, but I feel like Downs is potentially gonna skyrocket around like Jaden Reed at least. Like Downs, I think could easily go 3 rounds higher. If you tell me that either Alec Pierce or Michael Pittman Jr. leave the Colts, which I think it's definitely possible because they can save a lot of money if they cut Michael Pittman. Obviously, he could be an interesting trade candidate as well. And then Alec Pierce is a free agent. I think he's gonna re-sign. I think he's gonna be like their main guy. But like the odds that both of them return are kind of slim. Angus says Colts are for sure cutting Pittman. Yeah, I think they can save a lot of money, is my understanding from a cap standpoint. So I love the Downs price. I think Downs after Travis Hunter is a fucking steal. I did go Tyjae Spears because I was desperate for RB, but like, yeah, Downs I think is a diamond in the rough. I honestly love this like section of the draft at receiver. Like once you're like past Matthew Golden and Khalil Shakir, at least in like this lobby, we did see Coker go at 97, but Coker usually goes in this section as well. Um, all the receivers from Addison down to like Torrey Horton, honestly, I think have like so much underrated potential. There are some picks I'm not in love with, like Travis Hunter, Troy Franklin, not like my favorite click. But Ayuk and Tyreek Hill have definitely a path for success. And then like compared to some of like the ridiculous prices on like Luther Burden, Parker Washington, um, you name it. There's a lot of like odd price tag, like almost in a way compared to like Cortland Sutton and Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson scares me a little bit, to be honest. Even Xavier Worthy is also possibly like way too overrated. I think he kind of only goes there because of the Mahomes stack, but Worthy's also a massive gamble. This section of wide receiver has a lot of really good picks that could easily be going way before. So I like loading up. You get Elijah Surratt after Michael Penix. Penix is unstacked, but you get him round 14. well behind every other quarterback. Yeah, such a good price on Penix. Yeah, we forced you to take him pretty much. Damn. Like he should be going around Daniel Jones and Malik Willis, I would say. Like he is injured, but like odds are they feel like a similar tier. So to get him there feels pretty nice, but there are some other positions I like as well. With Josh Allen, Dylan Sampson, Brian Robinson, Darnell Mooney, Ollie Gordon, Malik Washington. Yeah, pretty fair end to it. A few running backs with some upside. Mooney and Washington feel like they have very capped upside, but I understand why they're going off the board this late. But Jeremy Bernard, wow, goes to Dirty P in the 19th round. Pick 222 for Jeremy Bernard. Interesting. Dirty P went Jordan Mason, Rashad White, Sean Tucker, and Emmanuel Wilson after a DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor start. Did you get Mendoza at least? Yeah, you got Mendoza, justifies the Bowers selection. And then Terrence Ferguson, that's a fine tight end too. Baker, Tyler Shuck, and Mendoza. I did snipe you, though, on Juwan Johnson. I think I helped you out because I think you needed a running back there more than tight end. But Michael Wilson scares me a little bit. I'm not going to lie, a little bit. I think only one of the Arizona Cardinals are going to pay off their ADP. I think one of them is going to crush, and maybe it's Michael Wilson, but there's so much draft capital invested in Marvin Harrison to where like it has to work out. If Harrison doesn't get injured, then I think both of them are kind of odd prices and like very risky, but elite upside. Like they could both also drop like 30 points in a given week. I think if I like one more than the other, it's Michael Wilson. So to draft any Cardinals receiver is other than McBride, I think is a bit of a gamble, but I think I prefer Michael Wilson over Harrison personally. So anyways, I think that's going to be it on this live stream. I think we're done for the afternoon. The lighting is really dwindling. Yeah, that's a good sign. So some final comment. It's just so blown out in the back. Damn. Okay. I pivoted to that white curtain a few months ago, and like while my room is brighter and like I enjoy it to be in here for the camera's sake, there are some times when it really looks like shit. But agreed on Downs opportunity. Yeah, definitely a potential massive riser. Wish I had taken more of him. I should start taking him more. Cole Regan, hello, welcome in. It's the end of the video. If you would like to rewind, that might be a good idea. But you're welcome, Mufasa. No worries. And then Shanzo, pretty sure number 5 in open in Kansas City with Hollywood out. Feels like a Dowdle spot. You know, I've heard so many people project like almost everyone to the Chiefs, and like I kind of feel like they're just gonna go as cheap as possible again. Like I really don't know who you can trust to be the Chiefs running back at this point in time. Someone's gonna definitely be that player, but they've been weird in how they've like approached that position. And I think because of how CEH worked out for them, I think they're pretty reluctant to like just lock in RB in round 1. So that's where the Jeremiah Love hype to the Chiefs, I think, is a little overrated. But then in free agency, will they pay up for a running back? That I kind of doubt as well. Like unless they're getting Breece Hall or Travis Etienne, I don't know who they would actually pay big money for. So it's hard to say, man. It's going to be very interesting. There's so many things that are possible. That's what makes these drafts fun at this point in time. Like you can really talk yourself into so many outcomes when a player is a free agent or rookie. There's so many interesting outcomes. So it's a fun time to be drafting. Appreciate everyone who hopped in. Mufasa was sniped on quarterbacks early, had to find a late stack. Seemed like you got something going. You did have Mooney with Penix, but I don't think he's going to sign there. I don't think he's going to stay there. We'll see. They're going to draft someone for sure, though. Could be Surratt. Not a Wilson fan either, but don't want 0. I get that. Appreciate it. Appreciate Angus for sticking around. And then Shanzo Ganza, 2 snaps up with a twist. Hold the kiss. I don't get that at all. That doesn't register to me at all. But let's go. Sweet. If you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button if you made it to the end of the video. Hit that like button on your way out if you haven't done so either. But we will be live streaming next week. I got some plans over the weekend with the girlfriend, and I will be away for a little bit. But it's 420, and the edible is like definitely kicking in. So it seems like a good time to say goodbye. Peace out. Later. Bye-bye.